The following podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Welcome to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast, the only podcast to combine the subjects of gaming, tech, media, and puppets for no easily explainable reason. It is November 7th, 2025. You are the internet. I am Kevin Blades. My pronouns are he, him, and this is episode 14 of season 3 of Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. Joining me is my co-host. His pronouns are he, him. It's Andrew, a.k.a. Bat Phantom.
Hello, everyone. I have a potty mouth.
So, no, there is a reason that the new thing is happening.
Yeah, it's my potty mouth.
It's actually kind of a good reason.
Oh, yeah,
so don't
fair.
worry. It's fine.
It's because of my potty mouth. I get it.
You'll see.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Oh no.
My father had applied for a government job, when he was younger, in 20s probably. And
that would definitely be younger than now. Right?
Oh yeah, way younger. He said the interview went fantastic. He was very personable and chatty, and he walked out thinking he got the job, and then he found out afterwards he did not get the job, and he asked him why, and he said it was your potty mouth. I don't think they said the words potty mouth, but I think they basically said your language was a bit much, because he was being familiar with them. He had a potty mouth, and it cost him this potentially very good job. And I think it haunted him a bit, but it didn't affect his potty mouth, because Lord, did I inherit that potty mouth. So
I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I may have.
Okay.
And we may have hopefully forgotten, because then it will be entertaining this time.
Absolutely.
Do you remember way back when we were celebrating, I think it was the first 100 followers of the Operation Puppet YouTube channel?
Okay.
And we did the live stream of the Oracle playing Adventure for the first time.
Yes.
And it was you, me, and Jamie sitting on the couch.
Yep.
Well, you, Jamie, and the Oracle sitting on the couch playing Adventure.
Yes.
And this was still what I was attempting to make you guys go, okay, this is supposed to be family friendly. Try and rein it back.
Right.
Okay. So Jamie was doing fine.
Yes.
Right. You were not.
I was not.
So at first, I was basically just like bleeping it or trying to cover over it. I think it was a 2-hour stream.
Yes.
I'd sit here and listen to every single word for
Holy
2
cow.
hours. To the extent that I ended up, instead of bleeping you, and I bet you've never watched it,
Nope.
because you're looking surprised right now. This is an old video, 6 years ago, that I ended up, every time you swore, I put Frankie's head over your face.
Okay.
And Frankie says, Andrew.
Fuck. That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Every single time you swear.
That's fair. You know what? 100%.
So that's the thing. And
Right.
the reason that the Frankie Play streams have always been like, the fucking reins are off, whatever, doesn't matter, is because I knew that JB could handle it. You could not. You're from the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. It's not. It's
Dirty
genetic.
potty mouth.
You just can't.
No, it's fair.
You're not even aware you're doing it.
I gotta admit,
You scarred children.
I've gotten bad at work. I do have a potty mouth, usually with my immediate coworkers.
Right.
I try not to do the potty mouth thing amongst my other coworkers that I don't have an office with, and I'm gonna fuck up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna fuck up one of these days.
What was hilarious in that particular stream was, like, the first few times you did it, you tried to cover it.
Yeah.
Right. But you would do the swear, and then you would say a not swear.
Right.
To try and cover it. And it's like, it's too late, man.
And I probably said the same thing one time. My mother, God love her, she was talking or I think she like stubbed her toe or something and at a family gathering, and she went, shit, fuck. Like she accidentally upgraded her swears when she was trying to correct it. Like, oh no, I swore. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Shit. Anyway, one other side note of a good swearing story. Friends of the family back in Amherst had a toddler, and her mother had a fucking hardcore potty mouth. So it's just hilarious when you're dealing with a toddler when you've got a potty mouth. And she would run around the house going, G-cry, G-cry. Which was adorable and funny as hell. But man, that kid was screwed when she got to school. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the swearing.
Is it Andrew?
I mean, the end of the swearing story. The swearing will continue unabated.
I really don't think it is. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're making a podcast.
Damn straight.
I guess that's the intro. Boy, that was
good.
Just hit the ground running.
That's right.
There.
Well, I mean, you set me up.
We're just going with the flow.
That's it.
There is a flow. And
Swearing is still an interesting element. I mean, it's flavor for the language, and obviously we've come to a point where less and less stuff is getting filtered. I mean, we were discussing this earlier about musical artists are getting away with fuck in their songs. I mean, as long as it's if it's in the middle of a line and they say you're a fucking dirtbag, they'll let that slide. You can put that on air nowadays, and they go, yeah, whatever, it's in the song.
I find that usually what they'll do is they'll do enough of a silence over the first syllable of it.
I think they used to.
Barely audible, but there is a difference.
The problem is now that they're terrestrial radio is competing with the internet.
Yeah,
internet ain't gonna censor shit. So they're like, you know what? We gotta limit these. We gotta open it up. We gotta resist the temptation. You still get radio edits, but I mean, I remember Sarah McLachlan had said fuck in one of her songs from the Fumbling Towards Ecstasy album, which was one of the singles. And at first they were censoring it, and then eventually they just stopped censoring it because it's natural. It's part. As long as it didn't sound like you were going fuck, they were going to let you get away with it. So it's just interesting if you listen to the radio what they're censoring and what they're not censoring. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter, she a dirty girl. And I don't think they're censoring her very much. Now, occasionally, they'll, depending on the nature of the song, they might give a radio-friendly edit. But for the most part, it's just people just accept it. They don't blink. We don't have the moral majority breathing down our necks anymore. So
don't we though?
Well, I mean, they're trying to get their power back and make
only
people
if you're trans.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's the only bad thing, apparently. Anyway, hi everybody. What are we doing? I don't have the show notes in front of me. Hey, that was the intro, I guess? Question mark. We're on cadence. We're on schedule.
Yep.
That's good. Okay, coping mechanism. Let's just do that anyway.
Sure.
Fucking New York, man.
I mean,
there's nothing else. There's nothing else good.
I have tried to avoid. I can't. That's true. It's not true. I've tried to avoid American politics, and we talked about this on the podcast after the election. I just couldn't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
But when it started to directly affect us as Canadians, it was hard to say, okay, I guess I have to fucking pay attention now. So this whole New York election, which was also, these aren't midterms. I don't know what the term is. Every November there's elections somewhere in the States, and they have varying levels of intensity, and the New York election dominated the headlines.
Yeah, it was more than just New York, but New York was the notable one.
Absolutely, when Mamdani won his primary, it was huge. It was a huge deal. And the fact that after winning the primary, the guy he beat went, nah, fuck that. I'm still running. I'm fucking New York over here. Fuck you. I want to run as an independent, motherfucker.
I don't live in the city. I've been accused of harassing women multiple times.
Oh my God! I had to step down as the fucking governor because of my hands, my dirty fucking hands, getting all over the women because I just can't help myself. So, but he truly believed it was his right to become the mayor of New York.
100%.
This was God granted by him, and how dare anyone run against him? And when Mamdani beat him in the fucking primary, that was huge. And then, again, the fact that he didn't just say, all right, you got me. For him to say, no, fuck that, I'm running as an independent. And he convinced the Republican candidate to fuck off, the incumbent mayor to fuck off.
Well, this was the thing that I saw that I thought was the correct hot take on this, was we have to understand that the Mamdani win is so significant because he didn't just beat Cuomo. He beat the entire Republican Party. He beat all of the fucking billionaires' money, who was like every motherfucker was against him and putting their money where their mouth is.
There was so much ad spending in this election in New York City, and then they got more and more desperate as it got closer and closer, and people realized that he was dominating in the polls, that they just went hard fucking racist in the end, and it was just straight up. He is Muslim, and they're gonna kill you. Like fucking Rudy Giuliani's post the morning of the election saying, New York, you forgot, over an image of 9/11 with an AI generated song about 9/11. I swear to God, that's what he posted to his Facebook.
This is what, I keep coming back to how much I love New York, but this is a very New York thing that happened, right? It's like you couldn't have imagined anywhere near 9/11 that like New York would one day end up with a self-described Muslim socialist,
Democratic socialist
mayor in New York City. That is fucking amazing. So congratulations. Well done, everybody.
And I mean, now the danger is, I am concerned in that we had not a similar situation, but in Ontario years ago when the NDP they didn't just win the provincial election, they got a majority in the House, in the Parliament, and like full control. And they were like, holy shit, we have full control. We can do whatever we want. And all of the business leaders locked down and said, fuck you.
Yeah.
We are not going to let you do anything. And it was successful. They managed to make
now we've got fucking
and they managed to turn that NDP majority government into a mewling kitten, and they were able to do nothing when they were in power because of the fact that all those corporations locked it down and said, we are going to ignore every fucking law you put in front of us because fuck you, you're not taking our money. And it was successful. They successfully turned the NDP government into a joke. They got annihilated in the next election. And
I would counter this with like, I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely. But the difference is, honestly, that it's New York.
Yes.
And like one of the things that Mamdani knows is how to work the streets.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
Oh my God.
He was just a genuine human being. That's how he won.
It was February, I think. Some people have been going back, and they showed video in February of him on the streets at a trans march supporting trans people, polling in the single digits in this election.
When every single like pundit and like advisor was telling him, "Oh, this is suicide. Don't
back
do
away
this."
from the trans issues, man. Because
when
that's
every other
lighting
Democrat was throwing trans people under the bus, he was at the fucking rally.
And they continue to. But and so he stepped up, and people recognized that, and they saw his energy, and they heard what he was saying, and it made sense, and they want it, and he's going to do everything he can to get it. And somebody posted a great video today of the history of New Yorker, like the pundits claiming that rich people are abandoning New York City, and it starts from 25 and it goes back all the way to 2009.
Yeah.
And then they fast forward to 2025 with a Fox guy saying, and there are now more millionaires in New York City than ever before. There's like 35,000 millionaires in New York City. And so all of this like almost 20 years they've been, oh man, we're gonna fucking leave the city if you bring in a socialist and tax us.
Yeah, you know what? No, you're not.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You know why you're not? Because it's fucking New York.
Exactly.
That's why you're not.
A handful of them will. They've been threatening this whole time to fuck off to Florida or whatever. So enjoy.
Yeah.
Like almost every single person in New York is like,
enjoy your
bye.
hurricane.
Yeah, please fuck off. And
with the most I saw was like, like a million millionaires threatened to leave New York. And it's like, well, look, he's already solving the housing crisis.
We're going to take all of our tax money down to Florida where we're not going to pay any taxes.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So,
bye.
So what? Take your nothing somewhere else. Yeah. Fine.
And there's so many people in that echelon that are saying, that's fine. Tax us well. We need this. They need to be forced into it. Is the problem. And they do. They absolutely do. And then when they're forced into it, they pay it. And they go, fine, fuck it. I guess now I have $1.2 billion instead of $2 billion. Oh, well. Anyway, it's great that he won. Yeah, I really hope that he gets to actually.
There's so many people going, "Oh,
shit.
don't overstate how important this is. This is just real acting." No, fucking, we need to take the wins.
Yes,
when
fucking
we
celebrate
get them.
it.
Celebrate,
and the
this.
fact that it wasn't alone, like the New Jersey governor and
it was huge.
And the other governorships were also very, very blue.
The bad guys are scared.
They should
That's
be.
how we want them.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
that
I've said before,
think.
the billionaires need to live in fear.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that will be the case now.
I hope you can hear the guillotine sharpening.
Yep.
Anyway, what's your thing, Andrew?
I just want to also add just as a punctuation,
Please,
even though we moved on. People have really started. I think a lot of people are starting to really embrace the beautiful image of David Lynch and his amazing monologue in one episode of Twin Peaks as in character as I don't remember the agent that he was playing, but he basically fix your hearts or die.
Yeah.
That is the new battle cry of the left, is fix your hearts or die. There's no more negotiating. There's no more, get it, you got to come to, it's like, no, fix your hearts or die, because they're clearly not interested in fixing their hearts. So.
Well, I mean, that's the choice. The choice we've been given is die.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely. Exactly. They act like that's not what they're saying. Yeah. They act like, what? Oh, that's so violent. Like, motherfuckers, you have been praying for the death of everybody that you don't like, and now you're turning around and acting like, oh my, you guys are so mean. Anyway, yes, my comfort thing. Usually it's YouTube based. These guys are on YouTube as well, but it's an organization called Secret Base. They do long form video essays, mostly about sports, but there's also non-sports material that they cover as well. They've got a great Patreon, and they do. When I say long form, their most recent series was about scoregami. It was a 4-part series, each about 40 minutes long, going over. And if you're a math person or a statistics person, holy shit, do you need to throw these guys some money. This scoregami series alone is worth the $5 a month for the Patreon. Scoregami is when a football game ends in a score that's never been scored before.
Okay.
So it involves weird combinations of scoring, usually involving safeties and whatnot, to get a score that's never been done. And it still happens. Like even this far into the existence of the NFL, there are events that happen that create a score that's never happened. And it's a fascinating piece because they get deep into the history of the NFL, going to the very beginning, and how, back at the very, 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 very start, you had teams playing teams that didn't actually have any idea what they were doing, so the final score would be like 100-2 or something. So, and it's just fascinating, and it's so extremely
37 guys against a turtle. What are you?
Oh
doing?
yeah, and it's so well executed. They have a great scores that they do for these videos, and like normally I try to watch stuff at a higher speed lately, like 1.25 or 1.5, but the music is so good on these that I let it play normally. So the scoregami one is just fantastic. The writer, John Bois, B-O-I-S. I don't know if it's Bois or Boys because he's American, so it might be Boys.
It might be
should be Bois. Yeah. He did an incredible piece about football in the year 17,776. And it's just fucking brilliant. And it's obviously totally insane. And the whole piece starts with, and it's very... not meta, but it uses the power of the internet. And it's not something you could just simply write. You have to do it on a web browser to really experience it properly, because the whole thing starts with an extended conversation between two satellites in orbit, trying to communicate with each other. And the satellites are the one satellite's trying to tell the other one, don't send me information because there's only so much data. You have to just wait until I can send you more. And it just, the calendar passes on. It's such a long setup, and then it starts into the actual story about how football turns into it's like one game across the entire country, and it's insane, but it's still brilliant in so many ways. Anyway, that was his first thing. The other one I want to mention, because you do love history, he starts with the relationship between Tim the Toolman Taylor and Al Borland from the show Tool Time,
Okay.
from Home Improvement.
Yeah.
So in the show Home Improvement, Tim is the star of Tool Time, and he is the host, and Al is his assistant. But of course,
Well, no, he's his neighbor. He's not his
no.
assistant.
Al's his assistant. Wilson's.
Oh,
the
wait,
neighbor.
sorry. Yeah,
that's.
right, yeah.
I totally accept that you fucked that up because it's dog shit television. The whole thing starts with
It's been a while since I've seen anything with what's his name in it.
the framing of the show is of the video is great because it also it starts out by explaining how Home Improvement has zero impact on the current mindset. Yeah, the culture. like all the shows from the era, things like Seinfeld and you know The Office, all these other shows still have resonance today. Home Improvement has fuck all, and that's because the center of the show is Tim, and Tim is the fucking worst. He is a horrible person. He should not be the star of this show. Al is the competent one, you know, and Al would basically have his own show on PBS, this Old House style, if he didn't have to deal with Tim all the time.
Didn't the actual guy do that? I think he did something like that. I remember something like that.
Oh, he's done
happening.
shows as well. Yeah, he went on to do legitimate stuff, but because he just looks like a perfect handyman character. But that's why they cast him, Richard Karn. Anyway, so what they do is they take this framing of the blowhard frontman and the actual competent assistant, and they come up with 4 different historical figures that match this situation.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going.
So I haven't even gotten through them yet myself, but the very first episode is about Samuel Morse.
Okay.
So it turns out Samuel Morse is a piece of shit, and his assistant Arnold Vale,
Shocking.
is the one who actually made everything work in international.
Side note: there's a great
communication.
podcast series called "This Guy Sucks."
Yeah. Oh, this is. I'm
That
sure
is
they're
related
probably
to-
covering
yeah.
a lot of the same material, but the way they present this stuff, and he uses the same visual style where he's got. It starts out with basically a giant board. Digital board, and he like slowly will zoom into things, and he uses the same technique in the Scorigami show. It's so good, and these guys are so great at what they do, and it's the kind of stuff that we need to support on the internet. I mean, they do these things on Patreon. Some of the shows are shared on YouTube. The Scorigami series was so big they wanted to put it on YouTube so more people would see it, but they still put it on the Patreon first for their followers.
Yeah.
But the Tool Time one is only on Patreon, so I said fuck it, I'm giving you guys money this time. I want to at least watch these episodes. Once you're subscribed, you can watch the whole thing and then not follow up. But you know, it's nice to just throw these guys a bone because they're doing it. And again, they are very sports related. Most of their material is about basketball and things like that. So if you are a sports person, they do brilliant breakdowns of what's going on in sport, not just about who's hot in the NBA. It's just historical shit. They love digging into historical shit.
Even I would be interested in that.
The other series they're currently running is a history of pitchers getting rushed from like the people rushing the mound is what they call it, where the batter gets angry and rushes the pitcher to beat the shit out of them because they got hit by a pitcher or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're doing an entire 4-episode series about the history of that. So that's going to be
I guess that's
amazing.
happened a lot.
Oh yeah. There's and that's the thing is they take something simple and then they find these amazing stories to tell, and they're very, very good at what they do. So yeah, so Secret Base is definitely my go-to for comfort viewing, and I highly recommend. If you go to their YouTube channel, you'll see a bunch of these things. The Scorigami videos, I'm pretty sure, are all up. And the first episode of the Tool Time series is available for free on the Patreon, and the subsequent episodes are available for subscribers. So it's important, I think, to support a lot of these organizations, these groups that are doing smart work. You know, I mean, as a side note, this week they fired most of the political staff on Teen Vogue.
Yeah, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, the fact that the political arm of Teen Vogue became one of the most important journalistic outlets in the world, at least in the American politics, it was utterly insane. But they were putting out good work.
They were.
And legitimate investigative reporting in a world where the main vectors they've chosen to just walk away from any legitimate integral investigative reporting, and these reporters were killing it. And then Condé Nast just went and put them down. And then again this week, 4 of their other editors basically said, why did we do this? Those 4 editors, and it just so happened that several of them were people of color, and I think one of them was a trans writer as well.
So happened.
Yeah. Oh, what a surprise! And they were all, of course, also union related.
Oh yeah,
because that's always part of it too. We'll get into that later. But anyway, so it's important to support a lot of these organizations as like it's. I almost guarantee that next week there's going to be an announcement about a new website that happens
definitely going to be something
happens to be populated by these
yet
writers.
Yet another Patreon to support.
And it's or subscription. I mean, we've mentioned before on the show, Aftermath, who does amazing work in the games industry. I support Defector, who they not just sports writing but also with political writing. They do amazing work.
404 Media is
good one. Absolutely. I'm probably going to end up having to throw some money at them too. So, and if you've got the scratch, it's very rewarding to support these organizations that are still trying to get through an era where, God willing, the media, the actual traditional news media will finally get their balls back and start actually publishing. It's all
still there. It's just at a different level of strata right now. So
yeah, I mean, now that we've got the fucking Trump government basically running CBS News at this point, and that's 60 Minutes gone. Anyway. Good times.
That was coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism has been obliterated by a discussion of American corporate media coverage.
No, it was good. It's good. Look.
Support what's good.
All that I know is that as soon as that motherfucker's gone out of the Oval Office, I may in fact be able to go back to New York City. Yeah. That is all I know.
And of course, your beloved Nowlands.
And that's all I care about at this point. So, okay. That'll do for the intro. We are going to take a quick fake break, and we will be back with the Puppet Pit.
You have entered an alternate dimension. A dimension of fleece and fur, of foam and industrial adhesives. So I hope you have good ventilation. A signpost up ahead. Watch your step. You have just stumbled into the Puppet Pit.
Welcome to the Puppet Pit, where we're talking about the puppet side of Operation Puppet for the last 2 weeks. Okay, here we go. I haven't had enough martini for this.
You'll be fine.
It's one of those moments where you got to turn the chair around backwards, right? Turn the baseball cap around. Go, okay, sport. It's time to have a talk.
Okay.
Don't worry, though. I want to front load this by saying there's no bombshell coming. There's no apocalyptic announcement.
Your mother and I still love each other very much.
It ain't like that. Don't worry. Operation Puppet is a thing. It will continue to be a thing. I'm still building puppets. I'm still all of the things you love. All 6 of you are still continuing. Don't worry. However, this is where we get into stuff. So the thing is, over the past 6 months to a year, I'm still getting commissions, which is great and necessary. But all of the shop sales have dried up.
Wow.
And have completely, over the past couple of months, flatlined totally, which is unusual. Now, let's think about this. I think it's pretty clear that the culprit is the insane cost of living increase that's happened. Now, when I was thinking about what has changed since I started Operation Puppet. Well, when I started Operation Puppet in 2018... what was happening, right? The pandemic hit. Suddenly, people were on lockdown. People were inside. People had more time. People still had some money, and the cost of living had unbelievably skyrocketed like it has now. So I just coincidentally happened to launch Operation Puppet at exactly the right time for people to go, hey, here's that thing I've always wanted to do. Or here's that hobby I've always wanted to pursue. Yeah. Why don't I do that? And that really gave, and I've always known this, that gave Operation Puppet a kind of a jump start. And I've been able to coast on that for 6 years now, right? But now that things are where they are, where we are in an economic state wherein if you are not a billionaire, you are poor. And that is literally where we're at. Like, that's it. People just don't have disposable income anymore. It's just not a thing. People don't, and I'm not the only one. I know for a fact I'm not the only one feeling this. All artists who make their living off of selling their art are feeling this. It is a huge downturn in sales. So thankfully I have this like body of repeat clients that who know my work, who like my work, who collect my work, who continue to come back to me time after time. And that is unbelievably good. And I am so grateful for that. However, this is now the first month where I have not made enough income from Operation Puppet to be able to cover my bills. This is the first time that's happened in 6 years, which is pretty fucking good when you think about it. However, that is just a fact. That is where we are now. So, and that obviously isn't going to change anytime soon. There's no sign of a recovery. In fact, there are signs that we're probably going to get worse. We are heading into a recession, if not a depression. So, now what? Now, it's not. I don't make nothing from Operation Puppet, but I don't make enough, and that is the problem. So what I'm going to have to do is basically come up with something else, right? I'm going to have to find some kind of supplemental income at the very least. Now, that's a scary proposition when you're 57 years old and have a very unbullet point friendly skill set. However, it's just a reality. Now, the thing is, where my head is at currently is that, yeah, I do need another source of income, but Operation Puppet still brings in some, so I'm not in any way abandoning it, and I want to put a pin in this. Operation Puppet's sticking around. If you want a puppet, there's still going to be puppets. I'm still going to do shop bills. All of the stuff is still going to happen. There's still going to be build streams. There's still going to be Oracle episodes, all that good stuff. But I am going to have to start looking for another source of income.
The clip that's running through my head right now is Homer sitting on the couch turning to Marge going, do you have any jewelry you don't need anymore?
It is kind of like that. I'm looking around going, I haven't used this in a while. Can I sell this? Like I'm really kind of at that point. Which is unfortunate, but it's just reality. It's just, there's no point in like going, woe is me. I've done the trauma over this already. I've gone, what did I do wrong? What did I, it's like, well, you know what? I honestly, and it sounds slightly egotistical to say, but I don't think it's me. It's just the economy.
No, you're absolutely right.
It's where we are.
Which doesn't make it better, but it's easier to accept the fact that
which is why it's like, well, this is just the reality that you're facing. So
what if I made shittier puppets? Would they have moved more? Would I have gotten some product?
Well, here's the thing that tipped me off though. Like and this was even, we talked about this in the last podcast, the Antifa frogs. Yeah. Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a single one.
Ooh.
Nothing. They are all still available. I thought for sure I had a home run
I
there.
agree. Like, that did seem like, I guess it was just a bad time.
I don't know if it was, well, this is the thing. Like, people probably wanted them, but nobody could.
Did you get any feedback on it?
Not really. Like, I got people who like the videos.
Okay, well,
that's
something
the thing, right? People, like, if you can put something out for free, people like it. But if anything else, it's like, nah. People just can't afford it. People, if the choice is groceries or puppets, I hope people choose groceries. Like, that's just where we are. So,
but they'll keep. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
they'll keep. But I mean, I mean, not to counter it, but I did notice you did happen to sell the Marty Feldman tribute.
Well, that fortunately was from a regular repeat client who has been extremely generous, and that was a fortuitous situation. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay,
but yeah, that is just where we are.
Yeah, it's I get it. The commissions are nice, are great. Obviously,
the commissions, and I can foresee that being the bulk of my business going forward.
It keeps things going, and that's the important.
So
thing.
I'll probably still do like the occasional shop puppet just to have something to post on the socials and sort of say, hey, this is still a thing.
Stretching the limbs, for something for the build stream that you can actually share.
And then people will come to me and say, oh, hey, can you make me this? And I go, yeah, for sure. And so that's good, and that's actually kind of where it should should be. Really, and that's fine. But I do have to find something else.
Yeah, I mean, if you were independently wealthy and this was just your side hustle, that'd be great.
Yeah, no.
If anybody would like to make Kevin independently wealthy, OperationPuppet.com.
I'm available. So anyway, that is where we are now. The thing is, it's November, right? Mm-hmm. So any hiring, there's either nobody hiring right now, or anybody that is hiring for seasonal work.
Yes.
So basically, I'm gonna just hold on, batten down the hatches until January, where I'm going to just basically start looking for work. That's it. Now I'm going to start by looking for something part-time. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be some, entry-level minimum wage thing, possibly even retail. Who knows? I've done that before.
A lot of remote stuff too. I mean, you've still got skills in that world.
I am of the camp, because I've worked in this level of things before. I cannot fucking stand people who to denigrate burger flipping jobs.
Oh God, no, absolutely. But
there is no such thing as unskilled labor. I am absolutely convinced of that, because I've worked every possible level of job. And let me tell you, the lower down it is, the harder it is, and the harder those fucking people work. Mm-hmm. So don't talk to me about unskilled labor, because that's not a thing. That's just a thing. That's another capitalist lie to devalue your labor so they can pay you less. That's all that is. Anyway, there is the market I'm entering. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going to come January. That's what I'm going to start doing. So what that means for Operation Puppet is, assuming I do get something, which eventually I, in theory, will. I don't know what my schedule is going to be. Is what the whole thing is coming down to this. It's up until now, I've been able to do I've set a quota for myself for how many builds I have to do per month. I try and do build streams on the reg. I try and do all that stuff. And it's once my schedule changes and I'm out working, I may have to work evenings. I may have to work weekends. I don't know what's going to happen. So, and this in fact impacts the podcast as well. I just do not know what my schedule after January is going to be like. Mm-hmm. So we'll figure it out when we get there. Mm-hmm. But let me reassure everybody again, Operation Puppet still, the podcast is still going, everything is still going. I need and want to keep that going. I haven't spent 6 years building this thing just to abandon it at this point. So no, we're good. We're still going. It's just that I have to find something else at this point. So that's the big thing that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. Related, next bullet point. There's a sale going on right now. If you want a puppet, go to OperationPuppet.com. 15% off everything that is currently. It's my very first sale ever. Yeah. On the direct shop and on the Etsy shop. But please, for God's sake,
you need to call it a pre-Black Friday sale.
I probably will. I've kind of become shameless on the socials and just
fuck yeah, man. It's the hustle's real. There's no question that's part of the game.
So there's that, and also I haven't posted this on the socials. I have posted it on the Discord, and I will talk about it on the podcast. But I'm still a little bit wary about legal blowback from this, although I probably shouldn't be. But one of the ways I need to be able to try and raise funds is I have decided that I'm going to sell one of the two Kermits that I have built. I have two Kermits. I have the full body one, which is the full scale, and I have the half body one, which is slightly scaled down to a human hand because, you know what? Jim Henson had big hands.
He's a big dude.
He was big.
You just have to call it Funny Frog.
Yeah. So it's...
The K word will not be involved in the sale of this puppet.
It's entirely possible that was where it goes. But I am asking $600 Canadian. It is the half-body Kermit puppet. This is the one that went with me to New York City to visit Jim Henson's bench.
It's got extra vibes.
Of anything that actually hit me emotionally with all of this, this is the thing. Because I poured my heart and soul into this thing. This this was my test. Yeah. This was the thing that was can you do this?
The catalyst.
Yeah. But
there's a lot of love in that puppet.
Needs must. I don't want to sell the full body one because that's the one that's in the background of the build streams. That's
the second time I've heard somebody say needs must in the last week.
There you go. It's somebody call Dr. Jung because that's called a synchronicity.
Steve Marsh said it in one of his recent postings. He's the Scottish gentleman I spoke of that travels the world. He said, "Oh, needs must."
Needs must.
It's such a classy phrase.
I've heard it a lot. I don't know. Yours acting like it's new.
No, in our society, it's not said much. Obviously, in British society, it's fairly common. But
so anyway, if you want a Kermit, I got a Kermit for you, baby.
That's good. No, I don't think you're going to have any trouble. I'm sure. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be one of the regulars, which is great. God bless.
I have had one person come to me and say that they're probably interested, but I haven't had any follow up on that, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, you're going
to
give them.
I want to be able to make rent this December 1st. So it's I need to sell it now. So. I may actually end up going to socials, and I probably shouldn't be worried about that anymore. Here's the thing. Here's the reason why I never did oh yes, I'll make you a Kermit or whatever. It is known that in the industry, if you want to work in professional circles, you just don't do that shit. You do not do intellectual property theft. Mm-hmm. That is the thing. It's not even that I'm worried about Disney lawyers so much as I don't want the reputation that, this is the kind of thing I do, so I could potentially get professional jobs. Yeah. That was the thing. Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of clear now that's never going to happen, right? So it's like...
I know what you mean. I know, but it would... Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it really is the thing.
You've made it very clear as to the reasons why it's come to this.
Yeah.
We did everything to avoid that. And if you get an email on Monday that opens up a whole other window, then that would be amazing.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I know I know a puppet builder who regularly makes Kermits and Elmos and stuff, and who openly posts about it and posts on the socials and all of that stuff.
And they haven't been exercised.
No, it's been fine.
Well, there you go. I mean,
the thing is, I've also known of people who have been persecuted.
So it's interesting how some people can get away with it and some can't.
The ones that have always been the sleazy fuckers who
AliExpress that shit. Yeah,
not just AliExpress. Not even. There's one notorious puppet builder. I've talked about this guy before, who that's all he does. His entire business is in theory making Muppet replicas. Mm. But what he'll do is he'll take your money and you won't get your puppet for 6 years.
Oh, right? Jesus.
That's the thing.
That's much worse.
Don't ever buy a puppet from Mike Lisa. That's all I'm going to say about that, but don't ever do it. So yeah, I may Kermit's the only one I could do on a regular basis. And let me tell you, it takes a long time to make a Kermit. So Kermit ain't cheap.
To do it right.
Exactly.
There's lots of shitty Kermits out there.
Oh, there's plenty of shitty Kermit. You can go onto eBay and buy a shitty Kermit if you want, and it's still going to cost you.
And most people won't be able to tell the difference, but a proper aficionado will definitely.
So
that's
we'll see. I used to have to joke if the puppet thing ever falls through, I could just make bootleg Kermits, and it's that would sell.
Fuck, man, if it's going to pay the bills.
I might get down to the point where it's well, you know what? If you know me, you know my work, and you want a Kermit, I'll make you a Kermit.
Let's just say Kevin's open for commissions.
We could do, if you want a popular frog commission, then we could probably talk about that.
He would be more interested in doing creative work, but if you want to celebrate a nostalgic itch,
if
want to get a
wants
nostalgic itch scratched,
a genuine not Kermit, then you can come to me and we can talk. Okay,
purple alien person.
Yeah, that's the unpleasant stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the nice stuff.
Yay!
The builds in the past 2 weeks. The one last week was super duper special. This was the one that was during the week of Halloween, and I thought okay, I'm going to do a build stream on the Thursday, and the Thursday is the day, and I realized the Thursday was the day before Halloween, so it's I got to do something for Halloween. So the parameters were, I had to do something that I didn't have to get any material special for, that I already had some, stuff for, and I also wanted it to be something that I hadn't done before, because I've done lots of vampires, and I've done Frankensteins, and I've done a werewolf small, and I've done ghosts, and it's what am I going to do for Halloween? And then it, just hit me that oh, hang on, if I use this pattern and I do this and do this. So last week was Igor from Young Frankenstein, the Marty Feldman character. And I don't want to ring my own bell, Yes, I do.
No,
Fuck
dude,
it.
That was fucking great.
I even they told me on stream. So what I did on the Bill stream that week was that's when I did his nose, and I didn't really know what I was planning. Like I just kind of freeformed it, right? I was using some PVC foam PVC foam. So I hadn't used that for this kind of stuff before. So I was just trying something for the first time, but it worked out really well. And it's like people on the Bill stream are going, "You fucking nailed it." That was like,
that's great.
So yeah. Now here's the really nice follow up to that. I put it up on the shop, and I thought for sure this is a slam dunk. Someone's gonna buy this right away, and it didn't sell for a few days, and then it sold, and it sold to a long-term repeat client. So I got to chatting with this long-term repeat client, who's a lovely person. And they said that this is going to break your heart. Their father recently passed away. And one of the things that they had bonded with in their childhood was the film Young Frankenstein. And at their father's funeral, they quoted Young Frankenstein. They quoted lines from Marty Feldman in Young Frankenstein. And that's why they had to buy this puppet. And it's like,
Kismet.
God damn it, why did you do this to me? Anyway, so that's the follow-up to Young Frankenstein. So not only was Igor a fantastic build that I am unbelievably proud of, it went to such a good reason and went to such a wonderful, lovely, heartfelt reason. That was just like, what a nice story. So there we go.
Beautiful.
That was last week. And this week, you know what? I've got it right here. Hang on. We got a live puppet here on the podcast. This is great for an audio medium.
Never happened before.
I don't think it has.
No,
actually.
no, you've never broken.
we had the Nosferatu as a.
I think when we
prop
did the video
we did
one,
the
I
video
think,
one.
yeah.
There we go. So this is the Goblin Small.
That is really fucking good.
This is this is actually kind of a replica of a puppet that I made a few years ago. So I had somebody. I haven't asked permission to say who it was, so I won't go into too much detail. But this is actually going to a comic shop.
Okay.
In the U.S., who is all goblin themed.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
they had come to me and said, like, they saw this big-nosed goblin small that I made a couple of years ago for Halloween, and they absolutely loved it, and they want to add it into their roster of characters. And can I make one with an arm rod? So this is a rare small with an arm rod.
That is really, really good.
And so yeah, we got a goblin small. I'll post a picture of this. This will be the show art, I guess, for this episode. But there we go. This is what I did this week, and there's also another commission in the works that I have started this week that I will finish next week. We'll put that up for the next show art. But there we go. That's
So, just as a side, I've thrown ideas at you before.
yeah.
And I'm just thinking about if you made characters based off of legendary films and whatnot
Stuff.
that were,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to specifically market it as such, but let's just say it's the 40th anniversary
Moto the Mobbit. Yeah.
of 40th anniversary, and it's not a home run, but if you were to do a tribute to Back to the Future, Doc Brown and or Marty. For some reason, I immediately pictured a Marty McFly puppet with the vest. And the vest is the lock. The vest is the hook that makes it work.
And here's the interesting thing about that. Here's why I can stop you dead in your tracks.
Okay.
Clothing is an entirely different beast.
Yes.
Clothing is like that's literally tailoring. It just happens to be tailoring at a very small scale, which is harder.
Yes.
So,
Well, it's like the vest is kind of puffy. I
Yeah.
thought maybe that would make it a better suit for a puppet.
I mean, the vest probably wouldn't be too hard.
I'm just again
but
throwing it out there,
Yeah.
and given that it's the 40th anniversary, and there's a lot of discussion about it. This could be a vector as well in the whole, you know, things that people are looking for.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And if, you know, to celebrate these things, and it just happens to be your way of making a living. And if you were to make a crazy fucking even Doc Brown would be cool.
Doc
just
Brown would
with
actually be easy
the crazy
because
hair,
a lab coat.
exactly. I mean, straight up. Nobody's gonna people are going to be excited about a crazy Marty puppet, like, and it's not the other thing. It's fucking Doc Brown instead of.
That would be more easy.
Yes. Again, for some reason, the one that popped into my head though was the vest on the cute little Marty small style, like a small human white eyes puppet with the tuft of brown hair and the vest. Again, just throwing it out there as a potential idea.
One of the many reasons why I haven't done a lot of human characters, I do have a line of humans, but their clothing is generally like an altered infant.
Yes.
Clothing is, because clothing is really a whole other discipline that I am only vaguely good at. So like I don't even tailor my own clothes. It's like
on that scale, it may be something to look into. And again, the puffy vest thing, I feel like it could work, but still.
You're absolutely right. But the problem that I always face is like the time versus cost investment.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
If you put like 60 hours into a thing and you can only charge $300 for it, that's not how it goes, right? So
right. And again, I'm probably because now I'm in hyper suggestive mode. I want Smallzilla.
Okay.
I don't know how I've never thought of that before.
That's actually pretty easy. I could do that.
Smallzilla.
Yeah.
I think that could be.
Man, the fucking ridges along the back.
Oh man, there's some possibilities I think there to
no,
let it percolate.
It's
see
good.
See if
it's
it works.
Just, there's so much hand sewing. Oh god, there's so much hand sewing in that. But anyway,
Smallzilla, it feels like a very marketable concept.
It's a doable thing,
and it's legally dubious. So I don't think you'd have to worry about that. Anyway,
Smallzilla.
So I like to contribute to the puppet pit with little ideas like that.
No, we're good.
It's definitely something to think about.
So that's where we are with the builds. I'm continuing commissions next week. The build streams kind of continue. So I did the build stream last week, which was the one where I did Igor's nose. You can go and watch that. I did not do one this week. I intended to, and then just insomnia went nope.
Oh,
so, and I'm kind of at the point now where it's like if I am not feeling good, like I really appreciate the live stream audience. I wanted to say this because I know at least a couple of them listen to the podcast. And I said this last week. It's like every time I'm worried that I've had to take a break, I've had to take a week off or whatever, and I'm always worried that I lose everybody when I come back and people are showing up again. It's like, oh, thank God. So I really, really appreciate.
I feel like missing a week or two you can get away with. It's when you take an extended break that you're going to lose an audience.
I appreciate you, and I always post on the socials when and the thing is I've remembered, here's one of the many nice things about Owncast, shout out Fediverse, is I totally forgot that you could even do this. So every Owncast server is its own Fediverse account, basically. And when you follow it, you can just make like a post like you can on a Mastodon account. And you can post to everybody who follows that account, oh, hey, here's a thing. You could just make a Twitter-like post. So I started doing that. So I posted today, hey, everybody, no build stream today, but next week, we'll see the thing. We're doing a podcast tonight. So thank God I remembered that, because that's a really good thing. And we always get somebody on Owncast. That is the thing. Shout out goes to Bodefeld, who was actually showing up for the Warframe streams of all things.
Nice.
But so that's what's going on there. Wow, that was a lot. Yeah. That was I'm glad we got through it.
You got it out. Man, that's the important thing. And I think everybody's disappointed that it's not going better, but everybody fully understands that it's reality.
It's totally understandable why it's going this way, and even I understand why it's going this way. So, it's the reality, but I'm not in any way stopping. This is just an adjustment.
Yep.
We will figure it out as we go forward. And once my schedule settles down, we'll figure out a new schedule, and we'll be able to do things on the reg. And
as long as you don't have to sell your hands.
That's the one thing I need. That in my voice. So, okay, OperationPuppet.com for all of the links. Join the Discord, all of the usual things. And we are going to take an actual break, and we will be back with Pixel Town.
The sky above the port was the color of a YouTube video locked behind 17 unskippable ads. Around the rainy streets, people dodged out-of-control robo-taxis and shot down delivery drones carrying $50 burgers. Here we fight the corporate ecologies and get excited about avoiding our phones. Welcome to the mean streets of Pixel Town.
If I sell the Kermit before the next podcast will be hosted by Frankie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is it a threat or what?
That works.
I just want to,
Incentives.
I can totally see that. That might be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You could be a part of it.
Welcome to Pixel Town, where we talk about tech, gaming, and all things thereunto related.
Every time I hear that opening, I remember that William Gibson still posts to Blue Sky, and it makes me very happy whenever he does. I just get a little, oh, William.
He's still alive.
Parasocial connections, but, it's still nice to see him share his thoughts because he's such a fucking ray of sunshine. Anyway.
Starting with, we have a Deck Nook.
Yeah.
We actually have a little
I hadn't heard about this until you mentioned it. Some light Deck Nook action.
The actual Steam Deck has got an update that adds a screen off low power mode wherein it will still download updates and games.
It's one of those things where I read about it. I'm like, duh.
Didn't it do it already?
What the fuck? Why did this take so long? Literally years for them to finally go, I guess we can let you download shit while it's still on. We'll just turn the screen off. Like, really?
It's more than just screen off, though. It's
the
low power mode.
It's basically, it's literally update and shut down.
Yeah.
It's so insane that it took them this long to finally, I mean, there had to have been some kind of a software limitation where they had to work around it, and it took them a while, and they finally went, oh, look, we did it.
It's because it's built on an actual OS.
Right.
So it's it's Linux. So it's either awake or it's asleep, right?
Yeah.
So they had to kind of figure out how to make it do both. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
it was annoying. You're right. It was, I mean, usually I tend to plug in my Steam Deck if I'm updating something anyway, but regardless, it's a nice little quality of life update.
But if you're ever used to on the desktop, because your desktop would usually download updates in the background without you really knowing, but the Steam Deck wouldn't, that would be the kind of pain point there of everything else is updated, but I look at my Steam Deck and, oh Christ, now I have to download this, 24 gig update or whatever. Now it'll just do it in the background.
Yeah.
So,
a side note, I don't know if I mentioned it. So there's a YouTuber named David Does Tech Stuff. Very funny guy. He's based out of Vancouver, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's Canadian. Very entertaining tech YouTuber. He did the Linux challenge. He wanted to live with Linux for a month and try it out, and because he was like you, he wanted to get the fuck away from Windows. It didn't work out for him. In the end, he did it for the month and he stuck with it, but he just feels like he's still got to go back. And what's interesting is the one of the main reasons he felt that he had to go back to Windows in the short term is because he had committed to an Adobe license for Creative Cloud, and if you cancel it, they charge you for the months that are ahead, which is just incredible.
It's a trap.
Oh my Lord. Now he's a professional. He edits on Adobe, and that's he fully expected. I think he just assumed that there would be a Linux version that he could use. Nope. So that unfortunately turned out to be the biggest issue. He also struggled with that. He wanted it to be more plug and play, and he started with Bazite. And it was a good starting point, but he did find that he had some trouble running other software with it. And he acknowledged that it's definitely better to do the one that starts with A, the Linux build that starts with A. It's one of the bigger ones.
Arch?
Yeah, Arch Linux.
I mean, like CachyOS is Arch.
No, yeah. So but with Arch, you kind of start fresh and build from there. And it requires the work. You got to put the work in to make that go. And he struggled with that. And he kind of
mean, if you jump from an immutable distro like Bazite to Arch.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this
no,
is it.
I don't
You've got
do that.
yeah.
That's-
It's and he approached it like I think I mentioned it before. He approached it as not a Luddite, but somebody who wanted. He has lived with the simplicity of Windows.
Arch is end game, man. Arch is like, you don't want to do that before you're ready. That's like
exactly, and he was trying these things, and he's now exposed himself to that. The driver situation, the biggest problem he had with Linux was Ethernet drivers. He would be playing ranked matches in Dota, and the Ethernet would just die and reconnect, and he would get kicked out of the game. And that's unacceptable in Dota when you're in a ranked match. And so, it might have had something to do with Linux drivers or for the Intel. He had an Intel Ethernet. Anyway, I'm just referencing what happened in the video.
Sure.
So he definitely I guess for whatever his
I'm
platform was,
going
it's
fishy.
Yeah, but again, it was he wasn't trying to get out of it by any means. He wanted this to work. He absolutely wanted this to be, because
look,
the first half of the video.
Here's the thing about switching to Linux. Switching to Linux involves several stages. The first stage of switching to Linux is switching back to Windows. That is the first stage. Everybody who switches to Linux will go nope and go back, and then eventually they will go back again. There was nobody who has switched to Linux permanently who didn't start out by going, I can't do this.
And that makes 100% sense. And that's
Including
where he
me.
is. I think that's where he is right now. And I have a feeling once his Adobe license finally ends and he's not forced to eat shit on that, he's going to probably take another run at it
for stuff like that, because I'm in that wheelhouse. I do all of that. I need to do video editing work. I need to do graphical work. I need to do all that stuff. There's alternatives that do work on Linux for absolutely all of that stuff. But that's the thing. You need to learn something new. That is the problem. You cannot use the same shit that you've been using. You have to learn new stuff. That is if you get that under your head, then you're good. Then you've got a solid foundation to build on after that. But to think that you're going to do the same things you always did, but just in Linux, no, that's not how that works. Yeah. So that's what the.
But it's a process, and and that's perfect. That absolutely crystallizes it, and then that he's in the go back to Windows mode. But now he's got that in his head, and he can go, okay, now it'll be always present, and he'll always be thinking about the Linux
and this is the kind of thing that like those of us in the Linux community now, because of where we're at with how Microsoft's trajectory is going and all that kind of stuff, we're kind of sitting there going, that's fine. Like, Microsoft ain't going to course correct, motherfucker. They're going to get worse. Like, it's
the other major hurdle in gaming is, of course, kernel-based anti-cheat.
This is a big one.
Once we can get past that, that's a huge one. And if people can play Call of Duty on a Linux platform, that's going to be a game changer. That's going to open up a lot. So like he was sad that he couldn't play the Battlefield beta when that launched. And that's fair. That's perfectly. This is a major use for gamers. They want to be able to play those competitive games. And until they finally address the limitations or just embrace the fact that people are going to be playing on Linux, now they can, as more and more people are using Linux, the anti-cheat systems are going to have to start addressing that. And they're once they say, yeah, here we go, we're good, you can run in Linux now, that's going to be huge. Absolutely huge.
Unfortunately, Microsoft has like a financial incentive to make them not be able to do that. So that's, I'm not sure we're ever going to get to that point. I'm not hopeful that we are. It would be nice, but
the good news is that all of those games are you can just play it on console in almost all of those cases, but those kinds of people aren't necessarily going to be looking at alternative platforms anyway.
Absolutely.
These are people who don't give a fuck about Linux.
You're absolutely right. And it's like, I saw, a couple of headlines recently that was like, literally 90% of all Windows games currently work just fine under Linux. So it's like, there's such a small percentage of...
And there's so many great games that just do run fine, but
Yeah.
and they are obviously incentivized by Steam to get things better.
Oh,
in Linux, so that's been
thank
huge.
fucking God for what
So anyway,
Steam's
that's
doing.
good to mention.
Yeah.
So so and then the other thing in the deck note I added to the notes, they've added a major element for the PlayStation Portal.
Which is their handheld thing, right?
The problem with the Portal was that you had to play in your house with the PS5 that you were using, and it would stream
Okay.
to your deck, which
Yeah.
had its applications. You could just keep using it around the house on your internal network.
It was this streaming device.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have now added cloud gaming for PlayStation 5 titles,
I
limited
see.
titles, not all of them, I don't think, but a lot of them are now available. So with your PlayStation Portal, you can play PlayStation 5 games anywhere with a solid data connection.
Right.
That's a big step. And
Oh,
for
sure.
the
Yeah,
Portal,
yeah.
that's a big deal. So this is something that was necessary. They still moved a lot of product, especially during the 30th anniversary bullshit where they had all the nice little gray ones. But now the Portal is a much more interesting product for a lot of people. So it's going to be, we'll see where that goes. But I'm certainly not considering it at this point. But it's nice that they have finally said, yeah, no, of course, you should be able to stream PS5 games. Done. And because it's the Portal, it has all the functionality of the amazing DualSense controller.
Right.
So that's a big step up as well. So that pretty much wraps it up for the deck nook.
Yeah, that'll do it for the deck. So there you go. There's your mini deck knock. Wow. Okay.
So the big news this week is multi-stage. So and if we do it in order, it almost makes more sense in that
Please.
the Rockstar fired a bunch of
I
people.
just want to take a step back. They named their company Rockstar. I mean, that kind of tells you everything you need to know right there. What kind of an asshole names your company Rockstar?
And I'm pretty sure it was the Brits that named it.
The Housers?
No, the British developer, like Rockstar is a British platform. I'm pretty sure. Like when the company started, I'm 90% sure it was all in Britain.
I thought it was the Housers, but
I don't know. I can double check. But anyway, it's so basically they fired a bunch of workers who all happened to be members of a Discord where they were discussing unionizing. And almost to a man, they fired all of these people. And ostensibly it was because they claimed that they were leaking information to the public about games. That was
all of that information that we've been getting about those
right.
games that
It was
they're making.
all these 34 people who all just happened to be union organizers. Yeah. Oh, they're based in New York, but I think the history is anyway. Sorry, I always get distracted with these things. Yeah, the Housers, they're definitely co-founders. Oh, they bought the assets of the dormant British game publisher BMG Interactive to start that. So it's just VC bullshit.
Yep.
But the core creative of Rockstar, I'm pretty sure, has always been British up until the explosion. So they, in the middle of the development of GTA 6. Now, Rockstar has hundreds and hundreds of employees at this point, maybe thousands, I don't know. But
you don't build something of the scale
Yeah.
of GTA without.
So they specifically fired these people, and that set off a firestorm. And rightly, the British labor organizations have stood behind these workers and have now organized protests against Rockstar, and absolutely 100% reasonable choice. They absolutely did this intentionally. They're in, like so many other companies, they're just openly firing anybody who organizes a union, because in America you can get away with it because of who's in charge right now. But this is mostly in Britain, so the British are still pretty pro-union.
Mm-hmm.
So that exploded. And then coincidentally, I believe it was on Thursday, maybe, I don't think it was today, it was Thursday.
Yeah.
They basically said, oh, by the way, GTA 6 is going to be delayed until November 17th, 2026, which is pushed it a full year past the original announced release date, which seemed aggressive, although based on the timeline, it was pretty reasonable. I want to bring up this timeline. It just makes me laugh.
He's scrolling, folks. He's scrolling. I'm looking.
So
tapping, he's
Grand Theft
scrolling.
Auto, the history is just hilarious. So
Andrew's going to read Wikipedia, dude.
real quick, Grand Theft Auto came out in 1997 on PlayStation and PC. Hilarious. I don't know. Did you ever play the original, the top-down drive around?
I want you to guess.
No.
You are correct.
Okay. Grand Theft Auto blew up because of one thing, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it was a cool game and it had amusing stuff. But as you were driving around in the city, there would be a bunch of people running in a line. It was, and I think they were supposed to be cult members or something. So they were all dressed in yellow. It's the weirdest thing, and they would just be jogging. And then you would you could drive into them. And kill the if you got all of them in the group, the game would go Guranga. Just the dumbest shit, but it was funny, and a lot of people, the edgelords or proto edgelords of the era, thought that was hilarious. So
What's that smell? Smells like edgelord.
So that was 97, and then there was GTA London. There were 2 of those games in 1999, and then GTA 2, which is very much on the same platform, just more of the same. So those came up pretty quickly. And then in 2 years, they were able to crank out GTA 3, which was a huge shift because it went full 3D, and that was on PS2. And it was a literal paradigm shift in gaming when that came out. That just, the whole open world idea, it was fun. It was immersive. There was so much you could do. It was just absolutely massive. And then a year later, using the same engine, they released GTA Vice City. So that was fairly quick development because, again, they've got the engine. They just had to move it to Miami, or Miami, not Miami, as they you call it. Basically, do Scarface the movie in a video game. A lot of fun, great music. I mean, that was the thing. That was the cheat for once GTA 3 came out, is they started licensing music to play, era-specific music. The GTA 3 was modern, but then GTA Vice City was set in the 80s, and that just blew up.
When you start thematically.
Yeah, people loved that 80s channel on that game. It was amazing. And then 2 years later, they released San Andreas, which was set in Los Angeles or Los Angeles or whatever. San Andreas. It was in San Andreas, of course, dumbass. Basically Los Angeles. And again, 2 years, fairly reasonable window, completely new environment, to new characters, all different. And then they did a couple of side bits with like Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories, which again used the same engine, but we're going back to those eras just to do a little more. It was basically DLC, but standalone games. 4 years after San Andreas, they released GTA 4, which was, again, a huge upgrade from 3, bigger world, more realistic environments, just an absolutely colossal game. And that was on PS3. And then it took 5 years for GTA 5 to come out, which, again, with that jump in high definition graphics and everything like that, it was on new hardware. So GTA 5 was on PS5 or 3, sorry. It was on PS3, PS4, and PS5. It basically came out at the end of the PS3 life.
Right, yeah.
And then, so it had to run on the PS3, but obviously they wanted people to run it on PS4. So there were hardware limitations in that. So yeah, so 5 years between GTA 4 and GTA 5, which came out in 2013. 13 years later, GTA 6 will come out in theory. 13 years after the release of the 5th game and 18 years after GTA 4.
You are omitting GTA Online.
Absolutely. Because that's where all the money, that became the money printing machine for whatever fucking reason. I have never understood how that turned into,
Don't look at me, man,
just a multi-billion-dollar title where people just couldn't
As
throw
far as
enough
I'm
money.
concerned, it's douchebag the simulator.
There wasn't a monthly subscription, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it was just
it's all
people bought money
it's
in
all-
game to buy shit, and I've never gotten into it. I know that people like to role play in it, which is fun.
That
but
is the interesting aspect of it, is there was a heavy like role play
like
community
player driven
based-
material, stuff that Rockstar had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
They just simply gave you the tools and people made their own stories, and Rockstar went, this is great. Keep giving us money. We don't care.
Believe me, having been involved in a community like that was in EverQuest,
Yeah.
I totally understand the kind of impact that could have.
Douchebag role playing.
But it really is like, yo, why are you interested in playing the most despicable people?
But they would have
possible?
been developing. I'm sure they were actively developing GTA 6 throughout this time.
Sure.
Obviously, they were throwing. I don't think online required that much development. I think there were obviously teams because they had expansions and annual stuff, but nothing massive. I mean, all it was just setting up some heists and do an ad campaign, and you didn't have to buy the expansions. That was the weird thing. None of this was. It was just simply, now this is here. And it seemed like it was free, except people, I think one of the biggest reasons why the game sold so well was because people got banned. And if you got banned, you had to buy a new copy. You were never banned by the account. It was simply, you have to buy a new copy of GTA 5 in order to keep playing. And they went, yep, here you go. Here's $70, boom. So the fact that it's taken 13 years of development to release this game, and we still don't know what the game actually is. I mean, people are projecting everything onto this. It's almost like the Star Wars prequels when they were announced, and how the fans started putting all these ideas about what it should have, and it should be this and it needs to be that. And all we have had is one official trailer. One fucking trailer, which basically just sets the world that it's in. And again, it's effectively Vice City again. It's in Florida, or Rockstar, Florida. And fuck knows what's actually going to be in this game. I mean, it's a speculation machine. That's all it is. There's no evidence. They don't have to talk about what's in it, because Christ knows how many times they've put stuff in and taken it out. It's basically feature creep the game at this point. I mean, they probably just keep adding shit to make it more and more of a shambling monstrosity.
Welcome to Grand Theft the Star Citizen.
Oh my God. It's so much bigger than that, though. I mean, and again, the development cost in this game is reportedly over $1 billion that they've spent on this thing, because it's going to make $5 billion by the time all is said and done, in theory, unless it turns out to be just a giant bag of shit and they've completely fucked it up.
It doesn't matter how bad it is.
It's going to make a lot of money.
That's the problem, is it doesn't matter how bad it is.
Yeah. And we've talked before about how it's this monstrosity that scared away everybody else. So when they announced that it was supposed to come out this month originally, everybody ran the fuck away from fall 2025 to avoid it, and then it got pushed into spring of 2026, and they went, oh shit, okay, now we got to get out of that era. So anything that was supposed to release in that time, now it got pushed into this fall. So then there's a lot of rush titles that are probably going to come out this year just to try to make some money before it comes out. And now it's going to be another 6 months or 8 months or whatever past that. So Lord knows what was supposed to come out in November 26, and now any developers that were aiming for that date are panicking. But the other side of this is it's probably going to be $120.
Oh yeah,
when it comes out. I mean, they're just not going to have any choice.
What are you going to do? Not buy it?
Exactly. You talk about FOMO. Good Lord. So, and the fact that they haven't promised anything about this game, not a fucking thing. Everything has been projected by the fans about what they expected.
I just hear Ed Zitron's voice in my head,
Sure.
just going, yeah, you'll buy it, you little piggies, you'll buy anything, you just fucking eat it.
I mean, It could be the end of the industry in a lot of ways. It could be the end of gaming in so many levels, or it'll be the end of the mega rise of gaming. Where if this turns out to be
the last
mid
quadruple A title,
oh yeah, I mean this could do some real damage if it turns out to be a disappointment. But bottom line is, Rockstar can eat a dick for what they've done.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, no, and seriously, I mean, we have come so far in the game industry. And we should be well past the era of mega crunch and making people work 100-hour weeks, and it's still happening. Almost all of these games. And now that we've got Saudi ownership for half the fucking industry, and they're like, no, everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Bullshit. Everybody knows it's bullshit. They're going to have people are going to do stuff to make them happy without them even having to ask for it. That's going to be the real problem. Saudi's going to be like, I didn't ask you to do this. I never asked for you to make people work 100 hours a week. But, obviously the end result will show that it's
It's
worth
not
it.
even working 100 hours a week. It's firing everybody and getting
Sure.
fucking Chat GPT to do it.
Absolutely. And that's, I really think that's going to explode in their face too, where they really think they're going to be able to automate all of this shit.
No kidding. You're going to all of the games are going to be such garbage.
Yeah. I think that internally, this is probably what's happening right now. And they're not talking about it. I think it's going to come out very, very soon, and that in a lot of these game companies are pushing for AI use, and they're doing it, and they're following in the orders.
Instructed.
Yeah, they're told to do it. I know Microsoft is pushing everybody to do it, and they claim no, it's not on creative stuff. It's just for workflow stuff, just basic things. And goddamn well, as the same thing that's happening in the games industry, which is what's happening in almost every industry that's addicted to AI, is that the results that are coming out are dog shit, and they are being forced to spend more time correcting the dog shit that's coming out of the machine than they would have put in just doing it the right way at the beginning. Yep. And that's where we are now, is that companies are throwing hundreds of millions of dollars into the production of titles more than they need to, because they think that they're going to save money on AI eventually, but in the short term, it's costing them time and money. And I anxiously await insider reports from all the developers that are going to say, oh yeah, it's so much worse than you think, and hopefully they're going to leak stuff from builds that are just utterly shattered.
Follow Brian Merchant for all this stuff, because he knows the shit. All right, let's move on.
Yes, please. Just real quick. Last podcast it was Fallout Day, and today it is N7 Day, which is Mass Effect.
Now you're forcing me to rearrange the podcast notes.
No, that was next.
No, it's actually related to another thing later down.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Keep talking.
No.
Keep talking.
Okay. Anyway, it's so part of the marketing world of gaming is they try to create days for games, and Mass Effect is a massive series. It was a huge success. It has impact in the gaming community, not necessarily outside of that. So every year, November 7th, which is N7, which is the call sign of the ship
of the Normandy
from Mass Effect. This year did not have any big announcements. There was a lot of hope that they were going to announce some hard evidence about the next Mass Effect game, and
for all three people who still exist in BioWare.
Yeah, I mean, what they really wanted to say is, we are absolutely working our asses off on it. We're not ready to talk about it, but we please be assured that we have not stopped development. All the bullshit about the last Dragon Age game being a disappointment, God knows what that's done internally, but I totally believe them that they're still working hard on it. In the post, they coded a link which turned out to reveal some concept art involving the Krogans. And it was titled Civil War, and it involved an older Krogan and a bunch of other ones just firing away. You don't see who they're fighting, but people are speculating that the Krogan in the center is actually an older version of the one from
Garrus.
Not Garrus. Garrus is the other.
No,
one.
Garrus is the other.
Rex.
Yeah,
so Rex is older, and I think it's going to be well after the events of the original trilogy, because the Liara is much older and they age very slowly. So anyway, I anxiously await whenever the fuck that happens, which will probably, I don't think we're going to see Mass Effect 4 until 27, 28, honestly. And, take your time, whatever. I mean, I'll be an old man by the time it comes out. That's fine. They did talk a little more about the series that's in development. And the very interesting news is that they have said it takes place after the events of the trilogy. So it's not going to be a rehash of Shepard's story. So it is going to take place afterwards. I don't think it means immediately afterwards, but it will be in the wake of the events. And I like that they said, we're not going to do that because that's your story.
A-sport.
Now, obviously, there were multiple endings for the game, so they're going to have to choose one of those for the narrative that they're going to do. But I would be happier if it were being produced for Apple at this point, because Apple has fucking killed it with Foundation. It's so good. And Amazon is a little scuffed right now after they fucked the Wheel of Time, which was getting so good, and they just went, nope. we spent too much money on Lord of the Rings, and we have to keep going with that. And then, of course, I don't think we mentioned in the podcast that in the Amazon firings, they basically shut down the studio that was developing a Lord of the Rings MMO, which was fairly deep in development. And they just went, nope, gone. So despite the fact that they're all in on Lord of the Rings, they got rid of it. I don't think it was unannounced, but they'd only basically mentioned that they were developing it.
Yeah,
so they're pretending like they didn't do anything.
You would think that I would hear or something like that.
Yeah. So whatever it was, it's dead.
Good.
And
Good.
we'll see what happens with
Good.
that. So,
Anyway,
so that's
and
that.
7 Day, huh?
Yeah.
So, segue.
Yes.
No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're doing a thing. So with the last time we talked about how they had quite somewhat unexpectedly released a new expedition for Halloween called Breach. They actually cut Breach short a week. So it only ran for a week. That's not uncommon for these. Literally, the speed run for Breach was 3 hours. So like it's fine. But what they did was they cut it short for a week so they could do the thing they do every year at holiday season, which is do a rerun of all of the year's previous expeditions, starting with N7 Day, which is Beachhead. Beachhead is the name of the expedition. It was the very first expedition that No Man's Sky did, wherein you can get the Normandy. Hey, segue. There we go. We're connecting it as a frigate.
Shut the front door.
It's not.
So wait, this goes back to that was the first expedition. You could get the Normandy back then.
Oh yeah, no, this was the very first one.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
and
shocked that I missed that.
It's quite
one.
old. So they had. This is now what you can currently play in No Man's Sky if you don't have the Normandy as a frigate. So frigates are different. You don't fly the frigate.
Right.
The frigates are part of
They're in orbit.
your freighter fleet that you send out on missions.
Okay,
and
no, that's fair.
Stuff for you. You do get to see it in game. You can fly to it. You can land on it and all that stuff.
I will say, in Destiny, they did have you could get the Normandy as your ship.
Yeah.
Which, as fucking cool as it was, didn't make a lot of sense because it's just you on that ship, and the Normandy's a full frigate. This makes 1,000 times more sense to put it into that game.
Well, here's the funny thing: the conceit of No Man's Sky, and as you go through the actual story of the campaign, it's at least heavily implied, if not outright stated, that the universe you're in is basically a synthetically created universe.
Sure.
And that there's it's the many worlds quantum theory, that like there's as many possible universes as there can be, there are.
Yeah.
So there's an infinite number of universes out there. So that's kind of the conceit they give to this, which makes total sense, and it's totally fine. So it is cool. I've already done this expedition like a year or two ago, so I've got the Normandy in my fleet already. So
I have to play No Man's Sky finally. I mean, I haven't picked it up since
I gotta
March.
tell you, man, you go into VR and you're flying around. And the thing, I was in my my new Corvette too, right? So I was in the goddamn Arc Runner, and I'm like flying by the fucking Normandy. And I'm in VR, and I'm looking at the window, and there's the goddamn Normandy at the window.
My first love will always be the Enterprise in Star Trek II.
Sure.
But the Normandy usually becomes my favorite spacecraft of all time. It's such a fucking great design.
It really is.
It's so clean, and it's functional as well. But just it is such a great design, and it was one of the hooks, honestly, for the game. I think just seeing that beautiful ship every time you do the external shots.
It's one of the big challenges, right? Because like you need the iconic ship.
Yeah.
You need that ship. You need the Falcon. You need the Enterprise. You need the Thing, right? So
no, when they released the Normandy skin ship for Destiny, that was it. I didn't change it. It's still my ship.
Yeah.
I haven't touched the game in 8 months, but it will probably be that until the servers shut down. But yeah, I really, really want this universe to continue. I love the narrative of Mass Effect. I have been loath to play the Legendary Edition. I mean, I want to re-experience it, and they cleaned it up. They did some nice work with the Legendary Edition. I will play it like every other fucking game I own. But
will you?
Yeah, and I want to. I really, really want to get back into that. But I also, I just have so many fucking things to play, and now I have to play No Man's Sky to get the fucking Normandy. And that's fine. It's good. It's good. It's good.
And
it's a good thing to have.
Dude, you got to do it in like the next week.
Yeah,
because,
okay. Shit. Okay, I've got to. Yeah, I'll do it. I got to play it this weekend. Okay.
Because what they're doing now is they're doing the thing they always do at holiday season. And all of the expeditions that they've released in the past year get rerun once a week.
Can I just reiterate the fact that it's November fucking 7th?
What can I say?
I mean,
It doesn't make any sense.
No, I get it. I mean, I work at the University of Toronto, so the last 2 months of the year are kind of fucking awesome because we're effectively done. I mean, there's still classes through November, but by the time December rolls around,
Sure.
it's bliss. And then, this year the school shuts down as late as humanly possible. Technically, the first day of Christmas vacation is the 24th of December. So we're technically open on the 23rd and the 22nd, the Monday, Tuesday. So, but we're not back until January 5th, which is bliss. I love it. And you'll be able to shoot a fucking cannon.
Sure.
In our school on the Monday and Tuesday of that week. People will not be present. Anyway, yeah, so it is the holiday season, and I guess I have to play No Man's Sky regularly for the next 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
I will link
8
you to a
weeks.
guide that will help you through.
It will streamline it. And this is the problem. I wanted to be able to play it again naturally. I think I started again. We had, when they really kicked in the multiplayer, I'm like, okay, this is a good excuse for me to kind of get fresh and, go from scratch and to have the experience. But now I'm like, nope, give me the fucking Normandy today.
So
Okay.
here's the good news, because what you can do is you can start, because all the expeditions are you start fresh.
Yeah.
Right. You could do that, as we talked about last time, from your main save, or you can just start fresh. If you do start fresh, which you probably should, start fresh, do the expedition, then that can become your new main save.
Right.
Right. So like you could just go from that point and you will have the Normandy in your fleet. So
Yeah. Okay.
and I will send you a link to a guide that will literally give you a step-by-step fucking bullet point of do this, then do this, then do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you will get through the expedition in like hours.
It's a good weekend for it. It's going to fucking snow on Sunday. It's going to snow. I want to see Predator Badlands, which opens this weekend. I like Dan Trachtenberg's take on the Predator series. Killer of Killers was amazing. The reviews for this are a little soft, but I think a lot of people are just kind of dismissing it as a Predator film in general because they're tired of it being a franchise. So I'm still excited to see it in IMAX. But if I don't go tomorrow, I have to literally walk in snow to see this fucking movie at the Scotia IMAX. So maybe I will goose that so that I can just stay home and play No Man's Sky for a couple hours and
Don't worry, you'll get it. And you know what? Here's the other thing. Like they literally, the Normandy thing happens every year. So if you miss it this year, you're okay. It's still, I think probably, considering how long it's been, No Man's Sky will still be around for another year. Fuck. You're probably okay.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's good. It's good to have this. It's good. I'm glad. I've needed an excuse, and now I have an excuse, and I'm going to play it.
Speaking of good, I'm trying to segue us to move us on because we're really running up against time here. PSVR 2. Hey, maybe you heard of that thing.
I do. I have that.
The unbelievable has happened. Someone has got it working on Linux. Caveat.
So fans have got it running.
So no, well there is an open source driver called, I think it's OXR or something like that. There's an open source like a VR library that will hook into Steam VR for multiple headsets. They finally got PSVR 2 technically working. So what does work is head tracking.
Mm-hmm.
What does not work, and I'm not even sure this is on the roadmap, is the controller mapping.
Oh, that sucks.
Which does suck. However, some games do not require the controllers. For example, the game that I play, Elite Dangerous, does not require, because I use the HOTAS, right? I use Elite Dangerous doesn't use a controller.
Shout out to all the people playing Elite Dangerous of the HOTAS.
My fucking, oh God, that game is so good. In VR with a HOTAS, that is bliss, my friend. That is it. You are in it. You are in the fucking cockpit. Your hand on the stick. There is nothing better than that.
Danger Zone playing on the radio on a loop.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, yeah. So it is currently working. And there was a video of a person getting it working. Now it is very rudimentary. It's a lot of hoops to jump through. It is the point where, like, I'm not even willing to try yet.
Now, in Windows, is it supported in Steam VR?
Oh yeah, no, it just works.
So with the
the
controllers and everything.
When I well, no, you don't use it in Elite Dangerous. No,
If I'm playing, if I wanted to play Half-Life Alyx,
oh yeah,
with the headset and the controllers, no problem.
No problem.
Okay.
Anything in Windows is just, you can just, as a given, it just works. That's where, when I'm playing No Man's Sky in VR, that's where I'm playing it. I'm playing under Windows. I'm playing anything. But this is very promising for like most things. The only thing that means that the only thing I would ever need Windows for is No Man's Sky, right? Because I played 2 games in VR. I played No Man's Sky and I play Elite Dangerous, and this means Elite Dangerous would be covered.
Nice.
So the thing is, this is only going to go forward. This is only going to get better. So it's going to get to a point where this just works.
This reminds me that we have still not had an announcement about the Valve VR headset.
We haven't. Well, it's only been 2 weeks.
No, but still, the given the sheer volume of leaks about the hardware,
it's Valve
it's a little
time,
shocking
man.
that they haven't
it's
said
Valve
anything.
time.
I don't know what they're waiting for.
Valve works on in their own universe. They are their own thing.
Historically, leaks of that scale are very close to an announcement.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'm surprised we haven't had that yet.
Valve don't play by nobody's rules, man. Let them cook. That's all I got to say. So yeah, no, that's cool. That is very, very cool.
Excellent news.
That is awesome news. So yeah, and I mean, following that, I am sure somebody will get controller support working, and it means that I can finally. I don't even need the fucking plug-in, Windows portable drive anymore. I can just play everything.
That'll be it. That would
Awesome.
be good. Speaking of Microsoft being bullshit,
Here we go.
they announced today that they have entered maintenance mode on Halo Infinite 4 years after its launch. This was supposed to be a 10-year game, and they have officially given up on it. And it was, I mean, there's been lots of videos online about breaking down the failure.
I'm so out of the Halo loop that, like, when you posted this, I thought they meant, oh, the game is done. It's time to release.
Yeah. No, it has been out, and it was I can't say it was a disaster, because on initial launch, people were like, all right, this is good. Where's the rest of it?
Oh, okay.
And like all of the shit that they promised was like kicked down the road, and they realized that there were a lot of holes, and a lot of the promises that were made weren't delivered on, and it was bad. It was very frustrating, and I think this is endemic of AAA development in this stage, and from a major company. They're run by a bunch of salesmen who are going to lie to you and tell you that it's going to have all these things. You just got to get into it. And if you fully commit to it, then we will develop them. And if you hesitate, or if we decide not to, then fuck you. It's going to get canceled, and we'll work on something else. The fact that this was announced a week after, 2 weeks, I guess it was the last podcast. I think they announced. Was that me? It was last podcast. I think that was the Halo conference or whatever. Then they announced the PS5 launch of the Halo campaign evolved, which was the new remastered version, because they already did the fucking Halo Collector's Edition CE again, because they're so clever with the use of the CE Combat Evolved Collector's Edition, campaign evolved, cuck extremis. I don't know, but so yeah, it was a big deal that they finally went. Yeah, we're making a PS5 version of Halo. We quit. It's over. Xbox is done. That was kind of the final blow. Xbox is going to have a little nap and go to a farm upstate. So the fact that at the same time they've also said, also we're shutting down Halo Infinite, so that ain't coming to PS5, and I don't think anybody is mourning that. It's interesting how the narrative that they presented, even in the main release game, I don't think it was an expansion that continued the narrative, and it was very light. Whatever they released after the initial launch added almost nothing to the story, and it left it in a kind of a cliffhanger, and they are not going to finish that. And it's funny because they abandoned the storyline from Halo 5, I guess, the setup that they had at the end of that one. They just went, nah, we're not going to do that. And so Infinite came out and was, hey, fresh slate, it's going to be a 10-year game. And now they went, fuck it. The gamers didn't like it enough, so we're not going to use it anymore. So we're going to support Combat Evolved.
We wanted to be Destiny, and you didn't like it. So.
Straight up, this was yet another live service failure, basically. And they promised.
As soon as you said 10-year game, that's exactly the nomenclature of Destiny.
This isn't the failure of the gamers for assuming things. They made promises about what was going to come on Infinite. They had a roadmap, all the shit that they were going to do, and they completely fucked it up, or they just decided it wasn't worth the money that it was going to cost at that point because they made all the money that they were going to make based on the initial sales, despite the fact that it was also on Game Pass. And they went, oh, never mind. I mean, they had one of the most predatory microtransaction stores, especially based on the fact that all of the microtransactions were cosmetic.
Yeah.
So it was strictly cosmetic stuff. So none of this is going to make you win games. It's simply to make yourself look better. Oh, you want to look like the Halo guys from Reach? $20. Just straight up $20 for this one piece of armor. And also, it's not transferable to your other characters. If you want it on the other characters, you got to buy it again. Just dumb shit like that. Predatory bullshit. And everybody called them on it. And now the game is effectively dead. So fuck them. Rest in piss, Halo Infinite.
Yeah. So in contrast to that, wow. Last thing, I promise. We are actually so in theory, we'll be doing at least one more podcast in November in which I'm warning you now, be front loading the Warframe stuff because hopefully I will have stuff to talk about. But we're going to do a little catch up about Warframe now. So, the quest to conquer cancer was the thing we talked about last time.
Yes.
And they were in the midst of the campaign, and let me tell you, they did pretty good because the initial projection for the goal was $100,000. They ended up over $300,000. They literally tripled the goal.
They took the money
Jesus
to the Falls View Casino,
Christ.
and they said, we're going to double it.
For the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, unfucking believable.
As for Princess Margaret, they took the $400,000 and they bought tickets for the Princess Margaret lottery with it. And like, this is how we're going to do it. And then we're going to win the $1 million and we're going to put that money back into Warframe.
I mean, one of the things in one of the last community streams was them talking about how this award behind us, that was for when we raised $1 million for the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. Like, that's what they fucking do. Like, it's unbelievable. Anyway, that was awesome. That has been such a morale booster. One of the things I've realized about Warframe in general is that it has been such a positive mental health thing for me. Like, it's weird to say this about a video game. It's a fucking video game, okay? So I
would argue that you've been very aware of the positive effect that it's had on you over the last, ever since you really started it. Once you realized that this is a good environment.
The fact that it's continued to be like, oh no, wait, no, this is actually good.
I would say that it's made you feel better about gaming.
It really has.
Just being reminded that there are good people out there who are the making great games and having fun playing them and doing good things for the general public as they do it.
It seems to have found the right balance.
Yes.
Right? It seems to have found the right level of like where the whole like we need to keep this running, we need to make money, but we also don't want to be fucking assholes about it. Right? Like anyway, so that was awesome. That was amazing. And of course, now we've just gone from one charitable campaign to another. It is now Movember. So they're doing another thing for Movember. So you can like buy stuff in game to like support Movember charities. That's being supported now. So yeah, it's all good. Warframe's good. And the thing is that the whole situation with the clan that I talked about last time, where we had joined the Bardini's alliance, that changed again.
Really?
So let me get into it. So what I realized, as I mentioned last time, was my whole goal for joining an alliance was that like I want Warframe to be a more social experience for me. It's literally an MMO. It should be more social.
Do you play voice?
I haven't yet, but
Okay.
it's an option.
No, I was just curious.
But there is voice in game, but nobody uses it. Everybody uses Discord or like everything else. Everybody uses Discord.
Okay.
But like I hadn't been experiencing that up until that point, and that was kind of what I was hoping to find when we joined Bardini's clan. So Paragroot, who was my partner in crime and all this, we ended up joining Bardini's clan, and what I found was like Bardini's clan is very focused. Like they do their thing, and they're very focused around Bardini's stream, which is completely legit. Bardini's fantastic. Bardini does his own thing. He's one of the creator program in the Warframe community. They were sponsored by DE, all that stuff. They do their own thing, and that's all cool. But they're also not necessarily terribly social about that. They have a very focused, like they do like end game, like level cap stuff, and they have very specific things that they do, and that's not necessarily what I do. And as a result, one of the things is they were just like not real social in chat. Like there was just nothing.
They were just focused on the game.
They were focused on doing the thing that they do and the one thing that they do. And that's fine. That's cool. That's like, if you want to play that way, that's your thing, but that's not my thing. That's not what I was looking for.
Right.
So I talked it over with Paragroot, and I'm like, dude, this is not giving me what I wanted. So I'm thinking about like looking for something else. And Paragroot was like, well, I'm not really playing actively right now. I'm playing occasionally. So, whatever you want to do is all good with me. So what I ended up doing was transferring my leadership back to my main character. So Pixels and Puppets, the Warframe clan, is in fact back. Shout out. And I started looking around for another alliance to join. So alliances are basically like groups of clans that get together that all can communicate together and do things together. So I just started like perusing the ads that were up on the official Warframe Discord for like, here's an alliance to join. And the one that I found was the Sanctum Aeternum. Sanctum Aeternum, one of their kind of sales pitches, as it were, which is a crude way of saying it, but that's kind of what it is, was that like our strength is in diversity. And I thought, well, you wouldn't use that word if you were not like,
I don't know, Latin.
So I started messaging with the person who was in charge of this whole thing, and I wanted to make sure, like, okay, are you queer friendly? Are all of this stuff, right? Like,
if you're a Nazi, you got to tell me.
Yeah. So no, they assured me, no, it's all good. We are quite open and left leaning, all that good stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's try it. So I ended up where we are now. Is that Operation the Pixels and Puppets clan is back, and we are a member of the Sanctum Aeternum Alliance. And I gotta say, it's been fan-fucking-tastic.
Excellent.
They are active. They are social. There's always something to do. If I want to do like whatever, like a relic run with whatever relic, I can just say the Alliance chat is active. This is the other thing with the Bardini clan. Everything was flatlined. Like everything was just absolutely silent. And I'm like, I might as well be playing solo. Like,
if you're not grinding hard for the end game, then,
like, why am I even in this?
That's
because it didn't. But they do their thing, and that's their thing, and that's cool. And I'm happy for them, but it's just not my thing. It's not what I'm looking for. So far, Sanctum Eternum is very much what I'm looking for. I mean, within the first 48 hours of me being in the Alliance, one of the posts on the general channel was like a trans woman who was celebrating because she finally got her gender changed on her legal ID. And everybody was like, that's awesome. Thank God. Congratulations. Let's celebrate. Like, it was so positive and reinforcing. I'm like, oh, no. This is good. This is it. This is where I belong. So that's where we are now. We are part of the Sanctum Eternum Alliance. Pixels and Puppets is back. I have been pouring more resources into the dojo. If you don't know what that means, that's fine because it's Warframe. If you are interested in playing Warframe, let me tell you, I got some stuff that we can do because we're in it. We're fully fucking in it. And Paragroot has come back. We are now fully up and running in.
And another reminder, in a world where people have less and less discretionary income to spend, this fucking game is free.
I mean, what? How? Oh, that's the other side note. We'll end on this. This is a good place to end.
Good.
One of the things that I did in this whole transitionary period was, as I talked about last time, I created a free-to-play account with just a spare email. To start a new account, and I transferred my clan leadership to that account. Now, of course, I have transferred it back to my main account, but I've still got my free-to-play account that's there. And I'm like, I keep going back to it because it's fun. It's they've done so much work since I started playing even literally a year ago. They have done so much work to refine the new player experience that it's oh wow, this is really good. So I keep just loading up my nothing free-to-play account.
It's just nice to see a fresh, clean interface.
It is
simple. Happening.
This is part of the arc of every veteran Warframe player. Is eventually you get to a point where you go, I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to start from absolute zero and just go
and
again.
Knowing that it doesn't punish you for that. And Destiny, I mean, Jesus, the idea of starting fresh in Destiny hurts.
Yeah.
The idea of abandoning all that shit that you've accumulated over the last 7 fucking years.
And it kind of is that for Warframe as well, but it's also kind of refreshing.
Absolutely.
It's kind of here's the difference. The grind in Warframe, at least for me, is actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're I like this grind, I like working towards this thing, then it's when you got an account that doesn't have that thing, it's fun to work towards it. It's actually kind of nice. So I don't know. That's cool. That's everything about this is good and cool and wonderful and fun. And so, yeah. So anyway, that's where we are. Now there's more to talk about with Warframe. In theory, we will be doing another podcast before November is out.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
In theory, hopefully.
Yeah, even if we skip a week, it's still the 28th.
Nevertheless, hopefully the way I have things lined up, there will be a fairly major Warframe adjacent announcement for the next podcast. So we will hopefully look forward to that. Nevertheless, if you are interested in playing Warframe, we have a clan that you can join. We're almost clan rank 10, which is kind of important. I've been pouring resources into this shit, so this is good. You want to join the Pixels and Puppets Warframe clan.
Definitely.
Okay, that will. Oh my. Hey, 201 according to this number,
Nice, including the break.
including the break. So slightly less. So we're exactly right
Yes,
at last.
a wizard completes a podcast when he's prepared.
And an angel gets its wings. Okay, OperationPuppet.com for all the links. If you listen this far, you are a champ. As always, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Kevin.
We will catch you next time.
You have been listening to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. Visit www.operationpuppet.com for all our links. Tell your friends, give us a rating wherever you get your podcasts, and join us again because nothing is more entertaining than aging nerds giving their opinions on the internet.